Penitence and Ruin is the sophomore full-length album from Vancouver, British Columbia-based gothic metal band Tribunal. And we could call them a gothic or melodic death doom metal band. There are a couple of different things, but there's also traditional or epic traditional doom metal in their sound. And I would say specifically there's a root of Candlemass and the performative vocals of Candlemass in a lot of their work by way of cellist, bassist, and vocalist Soren Morn, who's very impressive on each of their records and features as kind of a sort of a quasi-lead vocalist between the growls of guitarist and co-vocalist Etienne Flynn. They're kind of the glue of the group. They're what survived the formative stages, and now they put together a full band for this record and have written it with a full band in mind. So a lot of what was great about that first record was both talent and sort of incidental things that just kind of worked as they chipped away at it. And this record is much more of an intentional thing that has been written specifically for this group and to their strengths. Still, a lot of the same descriptions apply to their work, but before I get to that, we'll just cut to a song and get an idea of kind of what I like about this band and the tone that they achieve when they're at their best.
Once I lived within walls, each stone a story, a coded word.
So you've got cellos, you've got a vocalist who takes on a little bit of a Messiah Marcolin circa the late 80s kind of addiction to some of her clean vocals, and we've got kind of an early My Dying Bride roar and sing kind of dynamic going on. We're kind of in the early 90s gothic doom metal mode here with this record once again, and that's kind of where we were with the first one, but I think this one tightens everything up. The performances are much more sharp, everything lands with sense, and the cello is inserted more often for effect. I spent a lot of my time just catching up and listening to different gothic metal records while I was reviewing the first Tribunal album, because it was a record that reminded me of that time period where gothic metal was a big deal, especially in the European side of things. And nowadays, everyone's just kind of making My Dying Bride records of the early 90s, and that's not a terrible thing for my taste. It's something that I enjoy quite a bit. I singled out this band because they do have a unique kind of voice to what they're doing, and they've developed a lot of the best parts of the first record on this one. What interested me most about this record is that now that they had the full band to consider, they didn't quite leave enough room for all the notes to hit separately. And all that I mean is that you can hear the full band full of ideas, brimming with all of them, and it kind of clashes in interesting ways along the way, whether it's a contrapuntal moment or just a lot of voices at once. There are moments of busyness that don't leave room for emotional effect, and that wasn't quite as much of a problem on the first record, which took its time a little bit more. The one main feedback that I had for this record, which is quite well made and well curated, and I like the album artwork from Morn. The whole idea is that they haven't left enough room for emotional impact, and that they've really just packed this thing with ideas, and it's exuberant. Really what it does is it's more contemplative and active in thought and not profound in the same way. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's a different thing that moves me more towards a gothic metal vibe, where a lot of those ideas just lead to more jogging paced movements. And so the traditional doom metal aspect is what drew me back to this record. The classic gothic metal feeling of it is interesting, but they never reach a point of disgusting cheese, or they could go a lot more commercial with this sound if they wanted to and still attract the same audience. But the fact that they leaned into a lot of these finer details makes it a record that is interesting to return to, because it's difficult to really remember a lot of what happens on it outside of some key performative strokes. And so when I mentioned that Morn's vocals stand out quite a bit, it's because she delivers a lot of the biggest moments on the record just by exclaiming in a certain way that I think fans of traditional doom metal will appreciate. So it's a unique record in the sort of gothic death doom metal side of things, and I thought it was worth talking about. So check it out for yourself. It released on April 18th, that's today, and go ahead and read my review for more of my thoughts.